Hey, YouTube. How's the hanging? Hopefully your trading's going well. Just gonna do a quick analysis here on SVB Financial. It's on the move. It's currently has an ATR, average true range, of about 25.66. So that means average true range per the time frame that you're on is going to be about that much. I believe this is set at daily, so on the daily, the volatility range is about $25. The market makers have a move at around 1860. So it's gonna move. It's gonna move pretty good. Um, in one direction or the other. Now look here. You can see right here. You've got a very confident 3-bar play. You've got the initial green bar reversal. Opens here, closes above prior bar range. And then you've got two more closes higher than the prior bar range. Not even the close, the range. So this is a 3-bar continuation. Very confident move. Typically looked at as bigger money placing bets. And you might be wondering, why are they going up? Did it bottom here? And that's a very good question. If you draw some trend lines, you'll see that right about here, it tests the bottom of the consolidation pattern 1, 2, 3 times. Then I had a real breakdown, which consolidated a bit and now is coming back to breakout price. So let's see if we draw the top of the trend line, we see it converge about here. So as you can see, it's a descending triangle consolidation pattern, which is my favorite because it's one of the most profitable. You've got a triangle pattern, then it's descending, it's tightening. You can see how the price action bounces between trend line to trend line, and it gets tighter and tighter, and then eventually it's got to break out, right? Typically what you're looking for is from the base, which is the very left side of the triangle. This is the base, which can also be used to measure the move. From base to cradle or apex, which is where the trend lines converge, you're typically going to see a breakout somewhere around 2/3 from the base to the apex. 2/3. And now if you look here, it tried to break up. That failed. It consolidated a little bit more, and then it actually had a real breakdown. Didn't go very far, consolidated now, a very confident move back up to breakout price, so it's going to bust. But what we're looking for here is essentially you're essentially looking for huh Oh, okay. That was just a clone. But you're essentially looking for a move equivalent to the breakout, or to the base of the triangle here. You can use that as a decent estimate. It's not always going to be 100% accurate. Um, Depends on the time frame and the volatility level. As you can see, volatility is pretty low, but the directional bias is trying to cross. Momentum's going from red to yellow, and the bars are getting smaller, which means it's decreasing bearish momentum, possibly eventually to go bullish. Um, the CCI here crossing above the zero line, and so it depends on your risk profile, how you want to play this, but for me, I always look for a minimum of 2 bar continuation. So here we've got 3, and so 2 bars is like, it's like a good mix of safety and reward. Like a 2 bar move here with higher closes than the prior bar range is going to be pretty confident. Like if you were to trade this off a 2 bar only, you're already in the trade. So this third green bar here, this third green bar is all profit so far. Now, if you like confirmations and want to be sure that this isn't just a bust from this real breakdown, and it's just going back to breakout price before it continues down again, that could certainly happen. If you're a little bit more risk averse, you're going to do more confirmations. So if you're just looking at price action and you don't have any of these drawings on here, you're already in the trade for profit and you're going to ride it out. But when you actually draw the trend lines, recognize it's a consolidation pattern, and you see what's going on, tried to break upside about 2/3, which is pretty standard. It failed. That's not uncommon. Then it got in a tight squeeze right after. You see the squeeze? Then the squeeze actually broke real down. Then it consolidated, and it's a bust because it's coming back to breakout price. So from here, you're looking at the trend lines, and there's not really enough data to make a high probable trade, other than you have 3 really confident bars upside. The CCI is going up from the bottom 100, negative 100 to 0. It's crossing the 0 up towards the 100, and that's a good sign. And so ultimately what you or I would prefer, you can certainly make your own choice, but I'm looking for really 2 bar close above this trend line. I want to see 2 bar closes above this trend line. I want to see the CCI break out over 100. I don't, well, I mean, if that's the case and it pushes it bullish, those directional index lines should cross. But I'd like to see more volatility. I'd like to see the volatility increase and the momentum go bullish and increase. And that'll push price action upside. Now, this is a daily. Keep in mind that price action's fractal. And so what that essentially means is that this same consolidation pattern, descending triangle and price action, etc., you will see on any time frame. If we go to a 2 hour, here it is. You just see more bars because it's split up by 2 hours, not 4. But you can see a lot clearer. There's a lot of gaps, prices going around. Like it gapped up. That break up was a gap up, and then it filled downside the gap, And so this just gives you better insight as to the underlying activity. Um, because gaps are volatility, and it's not really the best that it's gapping a lot, but 'cause it could gap against you. But I mean, this looks like a breakout on the CCI here. But as you note, price action is at its highest here. The CCI is in a slight negative confirmation. And so you're right back to breakout price, the trend line, the bottom trend line. So anything could happen here. It could easily come back down again. So it's not really a bullish signal. It is a point that I want to watch. And in the next day or so, could easily enter a trade upside. And if it doesn't go upside, well, guess what? It can go sideways, which is probably unlikely considering how close it is to the apex. Usually the apex right here where they cross is typically where you see, unless it's busting, which it is here, that's typically where you're going to see a major swing low or high depending on the direction of the trend. So it doesn't give it very much room, right? But it's looking like this could easily finish. Like this move's finishing, it's kind of exhausting. You have a negative confirmation on the 2 hour, and it could either consolidate for a few bars and then continue upside, or it's going to eventually fail and come back down and retest these lows. But at this point, it's right at that juncture where it could go either way, and you want to watch it because you want to be able to get in at the right time and catch that move. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. Um, Definitely like, subscribe, and if you are up to it, leave some comments, thoughts, criticisms below, and we will discuss. Thank you.